Cassie Thompson was the kind of woman who filled a room with light. Her laughter rang like a bell, melodious and honest, and her heart was warm, offering solace to anyone lucky enough to get close. She was grounded yet dreamlike, an artist at heart, passionate about her ceramics, which had gained her recognition in local galleries. But it wasn't just her artistry that made her remarkable, it was also the man who stood steadfastly by her side, Kai. Kai Mason was everything a good man should be. With unwavering support, he had been by Cassie through the ups and downs of life. His patience knew no bounds, his kindness was evident in how he treated not just her, but everyone around him. Together, they created a symphony of love and respect, nurturing a bond that others envied. They shared dreams, goals, and a deep connection that flourished amidst life's chaos. However, their idyllic existence was soon to be disrupted by the unanticipated entrance of someone new into Cassie's life. The bright star. One balmy autumn day, a new woman joined Cassie's pottery class. Her name was Aurora, and she radiated an energy that was captivating yet edgy. With long, flowing hair and an alluring smile, she had an air of mystery that drew Cassie in. Initially, Cassie felt excitement, an opportunity for companionship beyond her trusted circle. However, she had little idea that this new friendship would soon lead her down a dark and twisted path. Aurora was a skilled manipulator. Beneath her charm was a mind adept at playing the emotional strings of those around her. Cassie was captivated by Aurora's stories of wild parties, carefree living, and a world that seemed intoxicatingly adventurous. Life is meant to be lived to the fullest, Aurora insisted one evening as they laughed over coffee. What fun is it to stick to the same routine day after day? Like a moth drawn to a flame, Cassie's curiosity was piqued, and she found herself becoming more entrenched in Aurora's tantalizing world. Cassie felt an adrenaline rush each time they hung out, lured into the idea of escaping her predictability. This shift was gradual but profound. Suddenly, Cassie found herself questioning her life with Kai. Was it truly fulfilling? Was it enough? Aurora's intoxicating stories painted a picture of high-octane excitement as she regaled tales of adventure and spontaneity. "Your man sounds nice," Aurora would say, "but don't you want to experience everything this world has to offer?" The descent. Soon, Cassie was pulled into a whirlwind of parties and a new social circle that thrived on reckless abandon. She began to prioritize late nights over the quiet evenings with Kai, who remained unaware of the growing chasm between them. At first, she thrived, the rush of dancing under strobing lights and laughing with new friends felt liberating. Yet, beneath that euphoric exterior, shadows loomed. Aurora was relentless in her bombardment of suggestions, coaxing Cassie into trying drugs that promised a world of heightened sensations. Just one night, Aurora would say, her eyes glimmering with mischief, "You'll love how it makes you feel." Cassie had hesitantly indulged once, a single hit of ecstasy morphed her reality. It was the gateway to further escapism, allowing insecurities about her life and relationship to seep into her subconscious. With each passing week, Cassie became further enmeshed in Aurora's chaotic lifestyle, spiraling deeper into a world where she felt powerful, vibrant but ultimately lost. She discovered a version of herself that was wild and spontaneous, a stark contrast to the quiet stability Kai provided. It was exhilarating and frightening all at once. Aurora continued to weave her web, planting seeds of doubt. "Are you sure you can rely on him?" she would whisper when they were alone. "What if he's holding you back?" "Life waits for no one, Cassie. Don't let him stifle your freedom." And with every word, the walls around Cassie's heart began to crumble. The betrayal. Cassie's nights became more chaotic, filled with hazy memories of parties and illicit encounters. The drugs clouded her mind and blurred her vision, eroding the love she had cherished for years. In those wild, reckless moments, she found herself drawn to the thrill of attention, the flirtatious glances of other men who reveled in her altered state. Then came the fateful night at an underground party where she met Nico, charismatic, intense, and dangerously alluring. He oozed confidence, seemingly unbothered by the world around him. Cassie felt herself captivated, the lines of loyalty to Kai fading in the shadows of the pulsating bass and flashing lights. The thrill of being desired by someone new ignited a fire within her that she had long neglected. That night ended in passion, tangled sheets, and a betrayal that cut deeper than she could have ever contemplated. As the days turned into weeks, the emotional turmoil weighed heavier on her conscience while Aurora continued to ignite the flames of rebellion. At every turn, Aurora was right there, whispering misguided validations. "You're free, Cassie. Embrace who you are." But underneath that alluring surface, her intentions were sinister. She had her agenda behind the scenes. With each dalliance Cassie had with Nico, Aurora's plans began to unfold. The once innocent friendship had morphed into an elaborate game of seduction and betrayal. As fate would have it, the strings of deceit began to unravel. One evening, Cassie returned home, the remnants of her wild nights hanging heavy in the air. She found Kai waiting, worry etched across his face, tenderness undeniably present. But instead of the warm embrace she longed for, she confronted him, her heart racing with guilt and confusion. "You don't understand," she spat. "I need more than this mundane life with you." Kai, stunned and conflicted, simply stared at her, the pain reflected in his eyes. "Cassie," he whispered, "I love you. I would never hold you back." But the weight of her choices loomed larger than the love that had once been the lifeblood of their relationship. That night, anger fed the divide between them, pushing her further into the arms of her reckless new life. The consequences. With each passing day, Cassie's double life spiraled out of control. She became a ghost of her former self, drifting through parties with Nico, intoxicated by the thrill while neglecting the emptiness festering inside of her. Aurora watched, a smirk planted on her face, fueling the chaos around her. Her true motive was coming to fruition. Cassie was slipping deeper into darkness, and she had a hold on Kai. While Cassie buried herself deeper into the world of drugs and deception, Aurora set her sights on Kai, using his loneliness as a catalyst. Using manipulation and deceit, she slowly infiltrated his life, showcasing the warm side that Cassie could no longer provide. In moments of vulnerability, that warmth melted Kai's lingering resentment, forging a connection that inevitably blossomed into something forbidden. One tumultuous night, everything came crashing down. After another chaotic night fueled by drugs and reckless abandon, Cassie found herself at a dark motel with Nico when the unthinkable happened. Police sirens blared as officers stormed in, searching for the drug dealers using the place for shady business. By the time they entered, Cassie was too out of control to realize the impending danger. The room was filled with chaos, the scent of drugs hanging thick in the air. In an instant, everything changed. She was apprehended in the chaos, still inebriated, unable to articulate her innocence. A warm hand on her arm pulled Cassie from the haze, but it was not Kai's familiar grip, it was cold steel. The apprehension was swift, the reality far harsher than the euphoric highs she had been seeking. Devoid of clarity, Cassie found herself back in the harsh reality, the four walls feeling more like a prison than ever before. The betrayed truth. Days turned into weeks as Cassie sat in her jail cell, the darkness creeping in with each passing hour. No late-night parties or laughter echoed through her life, only silence. Everything she once believed evaporated into smoke, the bright light of her former self replaced by shadows. The guilt washed over her in waves as she realized what she had lost. Kai, her good man, who had always been there, had moved on. She didn't need to wonder about that, rumors traveled faster than the truth. And those rumors echoed loudly in the small town. Kai was now with Aurora, the very person who had drawn her away. The betrayal carved deep wounds, turning Cassie's heart into a desolate landscape. She thought of her once fairy tale life, her pottery, her love, her aspirations, all washed away by the waves of bad choices. Cassie had allowed her insecurities and the allure of someone pretending to be a friend to destroy everything she held dear. Time in jail was meant for reflection, moments filled with regret and longing. She had thrown her life into chaos, and the world outside continued without her. The image of Kai loving someone else shattered her, laying bare the tragedy of her choices. A long road to redemption. Eventually, Cassie was released, freedom tasting bittersweet. She faced her past with unwavering courage, realizing the journey ahead would be painful but necessary. The road to healing would not be easy, and she vowed to reclaim herself. With determination in her heart, she began attending support groups, working tirelessly to rediscover her passions, and embrace the healing art of pottery that had once defined her identity. Months later, she found herself reconnecting with a sense of self, creating pieces that mirrored her journey, fragile and imperfect but filled with hope. Each shaping of clay was a lesson, a reminder of where she had been and how far she had come. While she would never forget Kai or the bitter ending of their story, Cassie's heart began to heal. She learned to embrace new beginnings and understand the depth of friendships, recognizing Aurora's betrayal for what it truly was, a reflection of her own vulnerabilities. She was becoming the person she never thought she could be, learning to celebrate herself without relying on anyone else for validation or joy. In the echo of that painful journey, she discovered strength that lay dormant within, ready to create a new life, one where she could firmly stand on her own, unblemished by betrayal, and untouched by the chains of her past. As Cassie stood in her studio one bright morning, a new day dawning, she finally felt ready to let go of the shadows, releasing them into the universe. The future welcomed her with open arms, ready to embrace the beauty of a second chance, knowing all too well that even the brightest moments could be overshadowed, but it was within her power to rise anew.